from the Coin Center in downtown Portland. This is Coin 6 News. Watching out for you.
We understand about something.
Communities just rocked, very emotional by this weekend's violence, leading the calls now in demanding change. This as the country continues to come to grips with the aftermath of two mass shootings just hours apart. At 4 o'clock tonight, I'm Jennifer Hall. And the death toll in Saturday's mass shooting in El Paso, Texas continues to climb. As it now stands, 22 people have died since a gunman opened fire inside of a Walmart on Saturday. The medical director of an El Paso hospital praised his staff during an emotional news conference earlier today, announcing the 2 new deaths just from today.
The Del Sol ICU nurses.
More than 24 others were injured. A 21-year-old man police say was the lone shooter was taken into custody shortly after that attack. The incident was the 8th worst mass shooting in modern American history. And closer to home, the city of Portland has also seen its share of violence recently, including 9 shootings in a matter of just 9 days. In Northeast Portland late last week, a woman is accused of opening fire on her own family members, even accused of killing her own brother, who was a prominent Portland State University basketball player. No, the area has been close to swimmers after tests came back positive for E. coli, and county public health officials were out again today testing the levels. That's where we find our Valina Jones live for us tonight. What are they saying, Valina? And then there's the second deadly shooting that took place about 2.5 hours later, around 3:30 yesterday morning. Police were called to a home in the 22nd Street Northeast area near Bremen Street. That victim died at the hospital. And as with the previous shooting, investigators are not saying anything about a suspect. But again, at this point, police have told us that both of these shootings are not related. The driver accused in a deadly DUI motorcycle accident in Vancouver made her first appearance in Clark County Court earlier today. Officers say Regina May Milam was impaired when she slammed her car into the back of a motorcycle on Friday. They say that impact of the crash pushed the motorcycle into another vehicle at Northeast 4th Plain and Vancouver Mall Drive. She remains in custody at the Clark County Jail. A woman who says that she was left permanently disfigured after being hurt by Portland police during a protest last year is suing the city. The lawsuit claims police fired a flashbang into a group of demonstrators as 2 opposing groups clashed during that event, which happened 1 year ago yesterday. Michelle Fawcett is seeking $250,000. She says that she's also hoping, though, to create some change. The American Civil Liberties Union is also helping with Fawcett's case. Coming up next, a rough day on Wall Street as the trade war rattles investors. We're looking at the latest numbers. Plus, Coin 6, your back-to-school headquarters. We're counting down the days until the first bell rings. Hard to believe. We're also explaining the latest immunization rules. Coming up. A gang leader is back in prison in Brazil after trying to break out dressed as his daughter. So this is Clavina da Silva, who went all out with the disguise. There's a wig there, that pink shirt, even a mask. And then he left his 19-year-old daughter in the prison to take his place. But officials say that he was caught when guards noticed him acting nervous.
I love the look on his face. He's like, dang it, that didn't work.
Yeah, that's not gonna work, dude.
No. And then the woman, she just walks away after this happens.
Not that it's okay, but maybe there's some bad blood between the neighbors.
There's something. There's the dog.
Wow. Okay, so a lot of kids in Oregon and Washington, of course, are headed back to school in less than a month, and Coin 6 is your back-to-school headquarters. We have much more on the required vaccinations and where to get them at coin.com. Just click on our special reports, and then you'll see the back-to-school headquarters. You'll also find the first day of school for every public school district and some online shopping tips there as well. And tomorrow, we'll show you how to make sure that your family stays healthy when all those kids go back to the classroom.
Okay, I'm very excited. I'm a big football fan, so Thursday the Seahawks have their first preseason game already, right?
It's Thursday?
Thursday. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I know who else likes football too. Our very own AJ McCord, back from quite the vacation, now doing something else that she absolutely loves, reporting here from training camp.
Who doesn't come together over some good food? And Jennifer, I know you and I can agree on that universal truth for sure. So I'm stoked that football is back. It's going to be really fun to see what this squad can do this year.
Yeah, thanks, AJ.
And you noticed that she and Pete Carroll, their outfits match.
Yeah,
so I wonder if they planned that.
Just a little, well, you know. They're probably besties, knowing AJ.
Totally besties. Right.
Yeah, we love to eat, but no matter what you're doing outside, whether it was over the weekend or today, man, I hope you stay hydrated. 75 will almost feel, dare I say, cold.
Like fall.
Like fall.
Yes,
yeah.
like fall.
Thanks, Natasha.
Coming up, bring on the carbs.
What?
An annual promotion is back at one popular restaurant chain. The deal that has people preparing to gorge on pasta.
Well, then there's this, gourmet food for the homeless, the program that feeds the less fortunate with high-quality nutrition. Boy, stocks sure had their worst day of the year after China let its currency sink to the lowest level against the dollar in more than a decade. The Dow closed down more than 700 points after falling more than 900 earlier in the day. The dive follows President Trump's threats to impose tariffs on about $300 billion of Chinese goods. China responded by weakening its currency against the dollar, making goods cheaper.
Watch out for your money. More signs you could be facing a global recession in the near future.
At least one expert thinks it could actually happen within 9 months if that trade war with China continues. A chief economist at Morgan Stanley told investors just this morning that a 25% tariff on Chinese-made imports would spark a recession. President Trump says that he'll impose a 10% tariff on Chinese goods next month.
Last year, all of them sold out in less than a minute. I tried to get one and couldn't get in. My computer wasn't fast enough.
Last year?
Yeah, last year. You know, I used to work at Olive Garden. I ate a lot of breadsticks.
We'll have story time later, okay?
A growing number of cities are feeding the homeless in a new way.
Yeah, this is neat. Laura Podesta reports on the young man who's leading the charge and why he wants your favorite local restaurant to get involved. And Senator Ron Wyden came to Meals on Wheels in Southwest Portland, to talk about the Trump administration's proposal to cut access to food stamps. You might remember Kyron was in 2nd grade when he up and vanished from Skyline School 9 years ago. He would also turn 17 next month. This car show is one of the ways that Kyron's father, Kane Horman, is trying to keep his son's disappearance in the spotlight. He tells us the event, now in its 8th year, gets bigger every year. Yeah, that's a story you won't want to miss. And a new breakthrough that could greatly decrease recovery time after a bypass procedure. The developments at work in tonight's Health Alert. Carly?
Be a game changer when it comes to heart bypass surgery.
There are only a few hospitals in the world putting it to use. Kenneth Craig visited one of them and met one of the first patients to undergo the procedure. Coming up still, 31 lives cut short in mass shootings this weekend, including young parents who died protecting their baby. The death toll in the El Paso shooting has now increased to 22, while 9 people were killed just 13 hours later in Dayton, Ohio. Camila Bernal has the latest from Texas. And the online message board 8chan went dark after alleged El Paso shooter Patrick Cruces posted a manifesto on that site minutes before walking into that Walmart and opening fire. And there are FBI studies that show only 27% of active shooters had any significant online interaction. Skateboarding will make its debut at the Tokyo Olympic Games next year, and an 11-year-old girl set her sights on taking part.
Man, she's a spitfire.
Well, talent aside, that energy, I mean, she seems so full of joy.
When she's done competing, she'll have a job broadcasting.
Somehow to be able to spread that joy to others. 'Cause we need that now, boy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Stay with us, everybody. KOIN 6 News at 5 is coming up next.